Ahoy there! Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another standalone episode of the Cat Skull Academy, the series that aims to teach you everything you need to know about the various gameplay elements and system mechanics at play in EVE Echoes. In today's lesson, we're going to be taking a look at Auto Salvagers, a brand new mid-slot module that has been added to the game. To some admitted controversy, we're going to have a look at what these do, how they work, and why you might want to fit them to a particular ship. Now, if you do enjoy this video, let me know by hitting like on it, sub to the channel for all things EVE Echoes, and make sure to ding that notification bell so that you never miss an upload. If you want to go the extra mile to help support this channel, you can head to my Patreon listed at the bottom of the screen and in the description down below, and we have a Redbubble merchandise store as well, where you can buy some exclusive cool merchandise related to the Cat Skull Academy and to me as Captain Benzie. With all of that said and done then, let's jump right into today's Cat Skull Academy lesson on Auto Salvagers. Auto Salvagers are industrial mid-slot modules that were added on the 9th of March 2022. These essentially assist the player in looting a battlefield quickly and efficiently. Now, of course, you can just approach a wreckage and loot it manually as long as you're within 10 kilometers, but an Auto Salvager, in theory, allows you to do this much faster and without all of that manual input. We'll talk about this more at length because you can see when we look at the first one that if you had just one of these auto salvages, it might be faster to just manually loot and save yourself the mid slot. But for now, let's have a look at the modules themselves. There are 4 currently available, starting at meta level 5 here with the Dust Auto Salvager. This is the lowest meta level variant of the Auto Salvager module. It has a power grid requirement of 1 megawatt. All 4 of these have a 1 megawatt power grid requirement, by the way, which means they are extraordinarily easy to fit onto any ship. They have minimal power grid requirements. You shouldn't even struggle fitting these to a frigate, and that's ultimately what I'm using in this video. They have an activation cost of 10 gigajoules and an activation time of 10 seconds, with an optimal range here on the Dust Auto Salvager of 7.5 kilometers. This means when you activate it, it will consume 10 gigajoules worth of your capacitor, it will cycle for 10 seconds, and at the end of those 10 seconds, it will automatically loot an enemy wreck within 7.5 kilometers. Now, the first point to note here is that this will only loot NPC wrecks. This will not loot other player wrecks. If you're going into a PvP fight, an Auto Salvager will do nothing for you. It will only loot NPC rat wrecks. That's a key point. The second thing you may notice is that the optimal range here on the Dust Auto Salvager is only 7.5 kilometers, whereas the standard looting range for a ship is 10 kilometers. So you might be wondering why on earth you would ever use these. Now, of course, we are going to talk about skills later, which will allow us to increase the optimal range, but also you could have 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 of these fitted into your mid slots, depending on the ship and the fit that you're using, and of course you can have all of those cycling, and if you're going to have multiple of these cycling, that is going to be faster than manually looting, as I will demonstrate later. Now, as we increase through the various meta levels of Auto Salvager, you'll notice the power grid requirement remains the same, as does the activation time of 10 seconds. Nothing changes either of those two facts. As we go up the meta levels, however, you'll notice that the activation cost and the optimal range both increase. Here we have the Galente Auto Salvager, meta level 6. I kind of expected this to be Federation Navy rather than Galente, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. What we're looking at here is you can see the activation cost has gone up by a whopping 2 gigajoules, but we have gone up by 2.5 kilometers on the optimal range. This then holds true, the same pattern if we look at the Ore Auto Salvager, the meta level 7 variant. That's gone up again by 2 gigajoules for its activation cost, now 214, and a further 2.5 kilometers to the optimal range, taking it to 12.5. Finally then, we have the fourth and final one, the Nullifier Auto Salvager. This is the one that has that fabled 15-kilometer optimal range and a 16 gigajoule activation cost to boot. Ultimately, whichever one of these you go for is going to be dependent on your needs and how you source it. For the purposes of this video, I don't want to go too much into how you actually find these. At time of me recording this video, you either buy these off the market or you use splendid coupons to get Gravitational Wave 2 grand graphs, and then you convert those into a map. You go out to the site that that points to, and then you cross your fingers that that site contains one of these auto-salvagers or the skill chips required. I am hoping there'll be some changes to this and that there'll be other ways to get these modules later on. For now, that's your method, and I have no idea what will happen when that splendid coupon store eventually closes. So again, just to reiterate, what we're looking at here between the different meta levels of Auto Salvager is each time it goes up a meta level, it increases its optimal range by 2.5 kilometers, whilst also increasing its activation cost by 2 gigajoules. But considering that's almost nothing, you should find that ultimately going bigger is always going to be the better option here. In regards to skills for using auto salvagers, you'll actually find these here under industrial technology on the right hand side, and then curiously enough under mining. If we scroll down below mining and strip mining, we'll have auto salvage technology here at the bottom. Now, annoyingly, at the time of this video being made, the only way to unlock these is by finding skill chips inside gravitational wave 2 graphs, which you purchase through the splendid coupon store. Again, I do not know how these will be available once this event is over and the splendid coupon store disappears. I'm hoping that eventually these will just be like other skills that you can open just by spending ISK. But what do the skills do? Well, auto salvage technology, this is going to increase the auto salvager optimal range by 40%, whilst reducing that capacitor need, because it's so big, by 20%. So it reduces the capacitor while increasing the amount of optimal range on each of those auto salvager modules. And this kind of tracks as we then look at advanced auto salvage technology. We're now looking at a 30% increase to optimal range, so slightly reduced from 40% before. It's not quite as big an increase overall, but it is a bigger decrease to the amount of capacitor required to activate one of these. Finally then, we have expert auto salvage technology, again 30% increase to the optimal range, but a 50% decrease to the capacitor need. Now ultimately this almost negates entirely the need for capacitor when actually using one of these if you have this trained up to full expert auto salvage technology 5, and if you do manage to get it all the way up to auto salvage technology 555 expert 5, then you will find that it is a 100% increase to optimal range. So that 12.5 or auto salvager becomes 25 kilometers, and the 15 kilometer one becomes a full 30 kilometers of optimal range, which is pretty massive. Ultimately as well, if we have a look at these in regards to how many skill points you actually spend, if you have a look here at standard auto salvage technology, you see the level 5 there is 210.745 thousand. That's a really weird way of saying that, 210,475. Then in advanced auto salvage we have 632,235, followed by expert auto salvage technology for 1,580,587. And if you're confused as to what that actually means, if you are an industrialist and you've ever trained into mining, these are the exact same amounts of skill points as training basic mining. Same as advanced auto salvage is the same as advanced mining. There it is, 632,235, and expert mining is that 1,580,587, exactly the same as expert auto salvage technology. For the purposes of this demonstration, I've gone onto the Fulmination Content Creator test server, created an Angel Nihilist Dead Space 10, which I then cleared out with a ridiculously overpowered hurricane, and now I have come back with a Probe Covert Ops, fitted the same way as my Covert Ops Cargo Runner, but with the 2 mid-slots swapped out for 2 of the Ore auto salvagers, the ones with a 12.5 kilometer radius. I have put those 2 auto salvagers onto a counter synchronization on their circulation. This basically means I activate one, then when it gets about halfway down I activate the second one, which means I'm looting something every 5 seconds. This I then can now double tap somewhere through the debris field and drift towards that point, and as I slowly go I can control my thruster velocity. You can see I've currently got it set to 35%. I can control my velocity and just drift through that field looting everything. Now, being the 12.5 kilometer version here, the Ore auto salvager plus the skills that I have available gives me a 25 kilometer radius for looting, which is vastly superior to the 10 kilometers. And just a brief bit of maths here for you. If you're just going with the standard loot and approach 10 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 10 kilometers, then you can do so, of course, that's absolutely fine, but you have an effective looting volume, spherical volume around you of about 4,189 cubic kilometers. Whereas by going up to the 25 kilometer range that I have here on these ore auto salvagers, I have an effective looting volume of 25,450 kilometers. So from something that is less than 5,000 to something that's more than 25,000. It's quite a big difference there, and it does mean that you don't have to spend so much time zipping between A, B, A, B, A, B. I just pick a direction, I drift in it and control my thrusters, and I just let the auto salvagers do their own thing. This entire field here takes less than 3-4 minutes to actually clear completely of every single salvage wreck in it. You can see that as I go, the salvager just picks a module that is within the 25 kilometer range, a wreckage, sorry, within the 25 kilometer range. At the end of its cycle, like we're about to see now, it loots, and then one of those boxes will now pop with a little explosion. That's now gone. Second one's about to go there, and you'll see that there it is at the top of the screen, little pop as it's looted that one. The salvagers then pick another target. You can see these cool little graphics pointing into the distance there, and when the cycle finishes, the one on the left's just gone. This one's, there we go. It's picked another one over there, which we're going to keep an eye on this one now. You'll see when the auto salvager finishes. No, I'm not. I'm going to keep spinning the camera. But basically, the beams pick a wreck within the range of the auto salvager. At the end of the cycle, they loot every single item that would have been in that wreckage. You can see on the left side of the screen, if you've been watching this carefully, you can go back and sort of replay it. You'll see that my cargo fills up every time, every 5 seconds. There it goes again. It's sitting now on 18%. It's about to pop up again. There we go. On to... oh no, still 18%. Probably wasn't much in that particular wreckage. It should jump again in a second. No, it's just going to stay at 18%. Obviously, there's not much other than debris in these particular wreckages, but if you do watch the footage, you'll see that that does jump up. Obviously, I came in with a completely empty cargo hold here. There we are, 22%, and I'm just drifting through. That's now the last wreckage, I think, done, so we can zoom out, I can target onto the gate, and just move out, and I'm all done. It is so much faster than just looting manually. And beyond this as well, if you happen to have something like a brawler fit and you want to do a sort of a semi-AFK fit, I already have a close friend in Catskull who's been playing around with these on his rattlesnake. He swapped out one of the mid slots for this, and it's giving him a load of additional loot for no extra time at all in the clear. And look at the amount of loot that I've managed to grab from this. This is Angel space, by the way, which absolutely sucks in regards to estimated volume goes, but you can see there we're looking about 203,286. Now that is including the 4 auto salvages in there, but those don't actually bring it up all that much, considering that on Fulmination they don't have a set value yet that is anywhere close to what they're going for on live. Anyway, folks, I hope this helps. I hope this gives you some inspiration on using these modules on your own ships. Good luck, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.